Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday again, and you're back with Dirk and some coffee and some scale modeling chat. It's another wonderful, wonderful day here in New Jersey. Just got back from a short little trip to Boston, where I went with my youngest son. We got to go see our Red Sox play. My most favoriteest place in the world, Fenway Park. Oh, I love that place. But yeah, it was a good weekend, and now we're back and coming up with something for our coffee chat with you guys. As I said in my first video, I don't do just cars, I do all kinds of things. So I just wanted to show you something. Another thing I do is I do 3D printing. I've got a couple 3D printers. I do, I do the FDM printing, where it's, you got the printer set up, it's got a flat bed that the bed moves, and the nozzle end is heated up and it extrudes a plastic through it, and that's what it uses to print things. I also got resin-based printers, which are pretty cool, where you've got a big vat of liquid resin and a bed goes up and down in it and it makes your print. It's a lot of fun, resin printing. If you haven't gotten into it, it really is. And if you are curious about it, I mean, there's lots of videos out there, but there are lots of printers out there that are actually really affordable to get into. Honestly, my first printer I paid $150 for, which these days is a dinner for my family. I got 5 of us, and actually it's cheaper than dinner for 5 of us at a medium restaurant. We're not talking McDonald's. It's close with McDonald's, but we don't eat that crap. But anyway, it's something you might want to see about getting to, because it opens up so many possibilities and stuff like that. But it also opens up some other issues, negative issues. What by negative is, for me, I'll be surfing the interwebs and I'll come across the print and I'll go, oh, that's cool. And next thing you know, I'm printing it. And once it's printed, it goes in a box because I'm not ready to build it yet. And then I find something else and I start printing that. And I put that in a box. So I've got boxes and boxes of 3D prints that I haven't done yet. Like they're printed, but I haven't finished. One of those examples is this one here. This one here. I don't know if you guys can recognize that. Back up a little bit. Whoops. Back up a little bit. Oh, it's about as far as I can go. But this is Genie's bottle, the bottle from I Dream of Jeannie. Remember that show from the 60s? Some of you may, some of you may not. Fun. But anyway, I printed this up. Somebody sent me this file. Printed this up. It's really kind of cool. It's not an exact replica of the bottle. It's actually just a small percentage smaller than the original bottle because I couldn't fit it on my printer. But at the same time, it's really kind of cool. And you know what? It's going to look neat once it's done. Neat, but the cool thing about this is, well, one, the top comes off, right? And that's kind of cool. That screws into place. It's supposed to screw into place. There he goes. So that screws into place. And then if you take this off, pop this off, and you pop the bowl off, it's got the interior where Jeannie used to live. How cool is that? I mean, this is wicked awesome. It's got a lamp back there that she would use for lights, burning at both ends for light. She's got hairbrush, a mirror, pillows, and stuff like that. That is just too cool. Very, very cool. But it's just one of the things that I've got with 3D printing. Another thing that I made, you might find this cool. Again, this is for the old guys, is this. This is Jimmy the Flute. Jimmy was from the TV series H.R. Pufnstuf. Again, it's another very psychedelic, mushroom-laden show for kids back in the 60s and 70s. Maybe it was 70s. It's been so long and I don't remember. But yeah, that's kind of neat, right? Just something cool. But on to what most of you guys are probably here about is car stuff. And I'm going to introduce you to a car build that I have done. Been some time since I looked at this, but I'll show you. What you're looking at is a kit that I built about 16 years ago. When I build car kits, I usually do not just buy a kit, open a box, build it, and say it's done. I usually like to have some sort of attachment to the build, some sort of theme to the build. And that means I do a lot of TV builds, a lot of movie builds. That's where I like to, that's my sweet spot. Cars that I've owned maybe, or somebody that I know that's owned, something like that. Some sort of attachment. For example, like with the TV movie cars, I also like, I'll use the Bullitt Mustang as an example. A lot of people will get that kit, they will build it, paint it green, and say it's the Bullitt Mustang. Fair enough, it is, that's fine. But, and without trying to sound like a pompous ass, I really don't mean it this way, but anybody can do that. When I do mine, I like to try, and I don't always succeed, but I try to give it some sort of character from that movie. So like if I build the Bullitt Mustang, it's going to have bullet holes in it. It's going to have body damage to it to reflect what happened in the movie. It's not just going to be a nice pristine car. That's just, again, the way I roll. There's nothing wrong with just building it out of the box, by no means. It's just not what I do. So when I built this car, this is from the TV series Spencer for Hire. It was a series back in the 1996 timeframe, I guess, derived from the Robert B. Parker novels. My all-time favorite detective TV series. And novels, too. I love the novels, too. But anyway, in the movie, the premiere movie called Promised Land, he drove this 1966 Mustang. And as you can see, it's a little weathered. It's not nice and shiny. Those of you that have ever been to northern states, that live in northern states, you know when you drive your car after a snowstorm, it gets that salt-like effect on it, and that's what you're seeing here, which is kind of cool. But even more so, to the point to make it Spencer's Mustang, is this. We blew the piss out of it, because in that episode, our protagonist was being chased by some gangsters, ended up in a parking lot where he took refuge. He used his car as a barrier, and he fought off the villains at that time, who went after him with a shotgun and an Uzi. So this is how his car ended up. Now, some people have seen this car in the passenger car, like, oh, those bullet holes are too big. Well, actually, if you saw this show, it's not really too big, because they actually used like picks and stuff like that to pop holes in the fenders, filled them up with pyrotechnics behind it, and then blew them out to give the effect. So some of the holes are big, but then again, that's the way it was in the TV series. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way this car turned out. It was one of my first weathering jobs, and in the end, I'm pretty pleased with it. You know, I think it turned out pretty cool. It's all been weathered. The interior, the engine has been wired and weathered. The underside has been heavily, you can see the, whoops, what's this, got a snot on it? What the hell's that? The exhaust is actually very, very rusty. Back down to the leaf springs and everything. Everything is very well rusted for a car that would be driven in the Boston area during the winter. The tires have been flattened. Another thing that I did, not that you can see it here, but on the interior, what I noticed during the show is his radio had a blanking plate on it. In other words, back in the early days of the 65, a radio was an option. The holes were in the dash, but the radio itself was an option. And if you didn't get a radio, they put a plate over top of it, and that car did. So when I built this, I drilled out the radio, removed it, and put some styrene to act as a blanking plate, like the car had then. So, but yeah, this is it. I'm very, very proud of this car, very happy with this car. I really like the way it turned out. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite builds. I pulled the wheels, I already can't even tell you where I pulled the wheels from, because the kit didn't come with those, but they are the same wheels that the car had in the show. But yeah, That is my Spencer for Hire Mustang. At some point I hope to do the other 2 Mustangs that he used in the show too, seasons 2 and season 3. But I just haven't gotten there yet. So that is that. One more thing I wanted to show you guys, if you don't mind. Well, tough. If you don't like it, turn away. If not, stay. You're more than welcome to. Last week, you'll remember I mentioned the passing of a YouTuber named Boyd Crompton from TrekWorks. He was a very big sci-fi and Star Trek builder. Very, very, very prolific in the field of modeling, and it got me thinking. I've been watching his old videos and stuff like that, and I'm sure there are people that are already clamoring to do a group build. It's not what I'm proposing here by any means. I don't want to be that person, but I think I am going to do a build for myself just to make me feel better, in honor of Boyd and all the things that he's done for me over the years. And I think I'm going to do this. See if I can get back enough for this. This is the Derelict kit from Mobius Models, from the TV series Lost in Space. Again, see, TV, movies, that's what I do. But yeah, the Derelict. He did this himself. He did a fantastic job that I will nowhere near be able to replicate, but I was always a big, big fan of Lost in Space. So I just figured that now's the time to build this. Well, I got it on my mind. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't know when I'll get through to it, but this will be something that's coming on the channel pretty soon, hopefully. So I'll keep you posted on that, or keep an eye out for it. You should see it soon. But that's what we're going to do. The Derelict from Lost in Space. Yeah, it's a cool ship. It was seen in the 2nd episode of the show. It was pretty neat. Pretty cool. I love Lost in Space. Lots of fond memories from when I was a kid. But anyway, let's see. We talked a little bit of movies, sci-fi models, 3D printing, and model cars. I think that's a pretty full plate for us today. So until next time, guys, be strong.